Hi everybody, welcome to our third and final classification of triangles lesson. And today we're going to put the first two lessons together. We're going to classify triangles both by the length of their sides and by the angles that are found within them. So as you can see here, I have drawn some triangles already and we're going to go ahead and classify them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, we're going to start with this page, I'm going to measure the length of these sides in inches. So I have, so I have 3 inches, 3 inches, and 3 inches. And we remember from our first lesson that a triangle that has the 3 sides that are all the same length is called an equilateral triangle. So I'm going to write that. Shit, I forgot how to spell equilateral. An equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle also has 3 of the same kind of angles, and these are all acute because if we made our right angle marker, we see that the angle line is coming before the right angle marker, and in an equilateral triangle, all the angles are the same. So this is just an equilateral triangle. Now let's check out these two down here. Let's start by measuring. So I have 2.5 inches. Two and a half inches. And then I have 3 inches and 3 inches. 3 inches and 3 inches. Now we have 2 sides that are the same and one side is different. Do you remember what we call that? That is called an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle. Now let's look at our angles. Let's check it out. So I'm going to make my right angle marker for this one. And we can see that the angle is coming before the right angle marker. So we know that that is an acute angle. Let's see here. It's coming before the right angle marker, so that's an acute angle. And this is coming before the right angle marker, so that's an acute angle. So we have acute, acute, and acute. All right, so we have 3 acute angles, and we remember from last time that that means we call this an acute angle triangle. So when we put them together, it's called an acute angled isosceles triangle. Let me write that. There. An acute angled isosceles triangle. That's one long name, isn't it? Yeah. Well, let's check this one out. Let us measure length. So this is 5 inches. This is 3 inches. And this is 5.5 inches. Pretty close, huh? But it's still different. So we know that triangles with 3 different sides are called what? A scalene triangle. And let's take a look at the angles. Here, here, and here. What kind of angles are these? Well, we can see their right angle marker, this angle comes before the right angle marker. So this is an acute. This definitely comes before the right angle marker. That's an acute. And this comes before the right angle marker. So that's acute. So we know from last time, when all three angles are acute, we call it an acute angled scalene triangle. Okay, so we just put them together. We start with the angle, then the type of triangle based on sides, and then we end with the word triangle. Let's check these out. So we will measure. We have 2 inches. And pretty close to 3 inches. So we have 2 sides that are the same. We've seen one of those already, haven't we? An isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle. Now let's look at our angles. This angle here is making a perfect L. Do you see? Our right angle marker would be right there. So this is a right angle. What's this one? Well, that's an acute angle. And if we were to turn this one, you can see that's an acute angle. Now we know when we have triangles that don't have all 3 of the same angles, we are going to call it by the different angle, which is a right angle. So this is a right angled isosceles triangle. Okay, now let's check this one out. Measure 3 centimeters. Oops, I'm sorry, 3 inches. 2 inches. And 3.5. So we have 3 different measurements here, don't we? So we know that's going to make it a scalene triangle. Okay, and let's take a look at our angles. We look at this one, we can see, oh, that's a right angle. Here, we can see the line. The top leg comes before the right angle marker, so it's an acute angle. And here, the top leg comes before the right angle marker, so it's an acute angle. So again, we have 2 acutes and a right. So it's going to be classified as the one angle that's different. So this is called, whoa, my R is crazy, sorry. A right angled, sorry, I went off there. A right angled scalene triangle. Okay, let's take a look at our last 2 triangles. Do you have any guesses about what these are called? Keep it in your head. Let's see if you're right. So we're going to start, of course, by measuring 3 inches. Three inches. And 5.5. All right, so we see 2 the same and 1 difference. We know that that is an isosceles, well, Miss McGee, triangle. Let's take a look at our angles. All right, can you tell just by looking at these what they are? Yeah, it's an acute angle. Acute, acute. Now what about this one? Let's draw in our angle, right angle marker. All right, so the top leg is going past the right angle marker. So that means that is an obtuse angle. I'm going to put a B. Obtuse. So we're going to name it after the one different angle. This is an obtuse angled triangle. Okay? What do you think this one's going to do? 3. Oh, 2. 4.5. So we see that this triangle has all 3 sides are different. And we know that that's called a scalene triangle. Looking at our angles, we can see this is an acute pretty easily, right? This is an acute. And this, we'll draw our angle marker just in case. Look at that. The top leg is past that angle marker, so that means it's an obtuse angle. We'll name it after the one different angle. So this is an obtuse angled triangle. Okay, so you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different triangles. We have 2 acute angled triangles. One's an isosceles, one's a scalene. We have 2 right angled triangles. One's an isosceles, one's a scalene. We have 2 obtuse angled triangles. One's an isosceles and one's a scalene. And then we have an equilateral triangle. Okay, so knowing that there's 2 of each angle, and then an equilateral helps you remember how many different triangles there are. Okay, so what I want you to do, draw a whole bunch of triangles, classify them, decorate them, make it beautiful. You know, there's all sorts of things you can do. One thing that might be fun is making sugar cookies that are classified as different triangles. That would not only be fun, but also delicious. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. If you have any questions, let me know. And it was great to see you. All right, bye.